Well, hello there. This is, I feel, a solution for the housing problem. What I've done here is I've constructed a small model to demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. Now, it would be better if I had someone holding the camera for me, but I don't. The basic structure, this one right here, this first one, is a 10 by 12. This structure is completely and totally legal and any backyard by the USB. Okay? And you'll notice I'm going to come over here, and this is the roof. And I'm going to give you, I lived in one of these for longer than I want to admit during the COVID. And what you have here is, you'll see, you have a balcony, and up here, two people can sleep. You have like a ladder that goes up to it. You have everything here. Under this balcony, this loft, you have room, if you so choose, to put a small bathroom. You can have a kitchen, and you can have a sink, a stove and sink and refrigerator. All of that fits in there. Of course, the bathroom is walled off. The place is 120 square foot. It's completely livable. I lived in one, and it worked for me. It was an experiment. It's extremely efficient. Now, the material that I first built it out of was just stick frame, but I had ground up styrofoam for insulation, because heating and cooling become extremely important. Now, this one here, as you can see, the way I envision it, there's this new material. Strata has it, a number of others do. There's no proprietary rights to it. It's basically like a foam, and then on either side it has concrete with a fiberglass admixture to it. But what you can also do with this is a bit constrained. I see these in people's backyards where they rent them. The way I'm going to do it, I'll show you over here on the larger one. The same model, just a little bit bigger, is they're basically constructed in 1 or 2 days and they're ready to rent. But on the back over here, we have another one. This one here, I have just empty. You'll notice something here. These little wheels and this small attachment right here now make this a trailer. A trailer is any conveyance with which it has wheels and it has a bridle with which to pull it, and it is not motorized in and of itself. Legally, this is what I did in my property, is in this one here, I put the bathroom, and I'll show pictures of it. It's on my the PowerPoint. And we had a kitchen. We had everything in here, a refrigerator. So what you could do is, or what a person could do is, they could build this one permanent on their backyard, then come along, and if they want, they can butt it up directly to it. Or you'll see this right here. This is made out of this same construction foam. You would put a door, a little hallway, and then what would happen is you would just come like this, and now you have a trailer backed up against your legal 10 by 12. And in here, this will all be open. You'll now have your kitchen and bath and everything else. Now, the only thing that you cannot do is very specific. You cannot have hooked up to a sewer line. But we take care of that. I explained there's things called composting toilets. And that's what we're going to utilize. You bypass all of that. They use composting toilets all over Europe, and they're extremely effective. They're extremely nice. And believe it or not, it's hard to believe, people don't. There's less smell with a composting toilet than a regular toilet because the draft pulls it down. And there's a number of people on YouTube that explain them and stuff. So they do a far better job. There's a number of different manufacturers, but that takes care of that. And it turns into compost. Now, the way I envision this here, over here, this is more for municipalities. Because a municipality might say, you know what, we want to have this, but the thing is, we have vacant land, but we want to be able to later on maybe remove it. The procedure, the product I have here is very, very simple. What you would do is, we have anchor bolts. The anchor bolts would fit into the foundation, and then what happens is you have these two, I have it over here, pieces of metal. I have a specially devised one where it's swing arms, back and forth. So what you could do is you could dig this out, and you set your thing down on these, and then they just push into the foam, and they provide an enormous amount of strength. So this one here, the way it works is the wall would be completely done. It would be delivered like this with the window in frame. Over here, you'll notice I have this. These could be square. These could be square. These could be round. And there's this very specific reason for this. One of the things with just a straight foam home, or one of these ICF homes, is that it's very hard to mount stuff. So what I've done here is I've come up with a way that we would have inside, all around every wall would be embedded maybe a 2x6. The 2x6 would then be connected to this. So in other words, you could hang a lot of stuff on here, Murphy beds, cabinets, all types of stuff, and it would not pull this through because of the enormous strength of the foam. It would have to pull this whole mass through. I mean, you'd have to be putting, a weight room on it to do that, and that's not going to happen. So the structure is very, very simple. It's all delivered like this in one piece, set down, two pieces. Over here, these would all be recessed, but the way I see it is that you have 2 or 3 of these, so they can unbolt them. Of course, they would be concealed. They're all countersunk, and they would know where they're at. So they just dig off the chip off the cement, and unscrew these, unscrew this, and the same with the inside, where you have the anchor bolts coming up. There's a little. You would just come in here and dig this out, this out, this out, this out, and unscrew the nuts. Pull this little, the things we have, the side things that make it strong, and the whole thing lifts off. The same with this panel, the other one, and the other one. The roof, what I see, and again, this would be the idea for the foundation bolts. The roof, you'll see right here, is it would come like this. Again, this would all be recessed real nice, and it would be like a 2x6 in there, embedded in to give it strength. And to take it off, you would simply come along like this, take these off, and then remove these, and what happens is the whole roof would lift off. So after the municipality is done, they could remove this, this, and this, all 4 walls. They would, of course, be left with the pad or blocks or whatever they have it mounted on. And it's storable and it's reusable anywhere. You can even go so far as to have people purchase them. This is what we want to do. Of course, in here would be this. Now, if you had the addition, the trailer, which is legal because it's a trailer. Let me get back to this. Let's say you have a 10 by 12 garden shed in your back house. This is what this essentially is. And you have a trailer, a utility trailer, whatever it might be, and you back it up here. What law is there against that? There is no law unless it's permanently attached, which it isn't. And also, what the other stricture would be that it's hooked up to the sewer line, which it isn't. Now, in reality, there are people that are going to put this in and they're going to hook it up to their sewer line. That's the equivalent, but you're not supposed to do that. You're not. You're right, without a permit, which makes it exceedingly expensive at that point because of the permits. The equivalent analogy would be I could build you a car that goes 150 miles an hour. Yeah, they're out there. But it's up to you to decide whether or not you do it. You cannot go over 70 or whatever the miles might be. The same with this. We provide it. You could do what you choose. I've looked at real estate before the last crash. We went into an area in Santa Ana, and I can tell you almost every home we looked at, in these little depressed areas, but it was near a very nice area, and every offer we put in we didn't get. They all had some sort of a structured back that they rented, and they were nothing like this. This material here is exceedingly powerful. It's light, it's strong, it withstands 150-mile-an-hour winds, and the thermal efficiency is enormous. One of the problems with regular homes is you have studs going up and down. These basically what they call thermal tunneling. So the heat comes in, it hits the studs, and the studs, a 2x4, I think has R4. And on a small home, it can comprise almost 20% of the area. So even if you have the best insulation, up to 15 to 20% of your home is R4. This is not the case. The only ones it would be here, and that's minimal, because that only goes a little ways in, and it's a very small signature. So this is basically what we have. Let me put this around. Okay. I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to try this. Darn. I wish I had someone to hold it for. My wife doesn't want any part of this. So what I'm going to suggest is this, is that I'm going to post this. I'd like to do a better presentation where I have a little help and I can show the parts better, but I think anybody gets the idea on this. These are extremely, the way I see them is they're mass produced. Everyone's the same. This brings down the cost enormously, because normally what they do with this type of structure, they put it together piece by piece, and they put the cement on, and with the fiberglass, with the fibers in it. I'm going to say we do all, this wall is constructed flat on the ground. They're all exactly the same, and that brings down the cost enormously. And I have spreadsheets on this, so I'd be more than happy to share this with anyone. All right. This is just, I said I was going to do this for a certain fellow, and I think I've done it. And like I said, if there's any interest, I'll be glad to meet anybody, show anybody, and discuss it. I have lived in one. I know everything there is to know after 2 years of living in one of these. It wasn't intended to be that long, but with COVID, it happened. I want to thank you very much for your time, and I hope that if you're interested, you'll contact me, because I have a lot of ideas. This is just a start. I know how to make this happen, make it effective, change people's lives. And the thing about it is, people can put these in their backyard very quickly. They can rent them. This is coming up. When the real estate crash happens, it is starting now, people are going to be looking for revenue. One of these in your backyard, you could rent for $700-800 a month, and people line up to do it. Because I had one at another house, and I had a waiting list of people that wanted to do it, because it's their own space. They'll pay a premium. And you could literally pay for this thing in a year and a half, 2 years by renting it. After that, it's all cash. Thank you.